Going back to the end of the game last night, it seemed like you and Luka ham and egged it pretty good. Why do you think it looked like it was going pretty smoothly in the last couple of minutes?
We've had some reps in practice, and we've been working on end-of-game stuff. We heard all the noise last year when we did our kind of hot potato back and forth on one of our end-of-game situations, and we're just taking it a lot more serious and just trusting each other down the stretch and having that poise that's needed to come out with a win, which I feel like we showed last night.
How gratifying was it to see that things that you have made a point of emphasis as a team in the preseason and in training camp came to fruition in the first game? Things like pace of play, getting Lively involved, etc.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that you guys have emphasized that materialized nicely last night.
Yeah, it's rewarding. It's rewarding. It means that we're having that carryover from practice into the games, and that's what you want to see out of a group that's kind of newly formed together, but also has a really old core here. We're all trying to flourish. We all want to see each other win, but the only time we get tested is in those pressure situations, and we want to come up successful, but we also got to learn from our mistakes, and I feel like we've been doing that since the end of last season and also carrying over into this season.
You've played with other young bigs in your career. What stands out about Lively?
Oh, man, his activity and just his fearlessness, and to be that poised in certain situations, to be 19 years old, going against a pretty young Spurs team, and not having to be on him every single play. I think that's a peace of mind for all of us veterans when you have a young guy like that where you can give actions to, you can communicate verbally to him, but also he's developing that nonverbal communication where he covers up for our mistakes on the defensive end. So when you have a lively big, not pun intended, but when you have a lively big like that, that's in the paint and covering up for a lot of your mistakes, it makes you look even greater than what you are. So we definitely can clean up some things on the perimeter, but interior-wise, he did a great job last night.
You talked about learning how to play with Luka. I mean, all the great players that you played with before, I mean, their games are different, but did those experiences, LeBron and KD and James, did that help, or are the games so different it doesn't really help?
I mean, it helps. Even just day one when I got to Cleveland, I knew it was going to be a building process, just being there and having that be communicated to me that I'm a piece of something bigger. And that's the route that I've taken on every team that I've been on. It may not have looked like that all the time, but maturity-wise, being here at this point, I just know I got to be a great piece and fill in when I'm needed, whether that's playing the 2, whether it's playing the 1, or playing any other position that I'm called to do. But playing with other great players, you don't want to get in their way. You want to continue to elevate them. And as you can see, some of the guys that I play with in the league, they've gotten better. Either we've been together or when I've left. We've always left imprints on each other where we've learned through failure, learned through mistakes. And I take this opportunity with Luka as no different. Just having that opportunity to really learn who he is as a player and where he's going to continue to grow to and just be a person that he can look to for trust and for chemistry down the stretch. That's what really matters.
Seemed like last year you and Luka could play together fairly easily. It was everybody else kind of adjusting to the different paces of you guys. How much easier is it for the role players when they've had a spring training and a year with you guys coming in?
Yeah, it makes the dynamics easier. I think the dynamic last year's team was different. Obviously, when I got traded, that changed the dynamic of the team. But going to Abu Dhabi, going to Madrid, I'll just say you get opportunity to grow closer as a team, and we took full advantage of that. I didn't get a chance to play as much as I would have liked, but off the court stuff, we definitely got a chance to get to know each other, and that leads to on-court success, I believe.
Kai, a Brooklyn question for you. I know there's not a lot of players that were there when you look at the team you're going to play tomorrow night, but a couple of young guys, Cam Thomas and Nick Claxton, were guys who came there. They began their career. They were soaking up knowledge from you, and when you look across the court and see kind of what the players that they're developing into, how much gratification is it cool to know that you were part of that mentoring process to help them develop into what they're developing into now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm nothing short of proud of them. They've grown tremendously. They put in the hard work on the off season, in season. They've been almost like rock steady for myself, even off the court. I was dealing with a lot of things, and for them to be so young and want to be there for me emotionally, meant a lot, and that's why we have such a great bond still to this day. You know, it doesn't matter what team we're on. We're always going to support each other. So, you know, them coming into town, hopefully I get a chance to take them out to dinner, spend some time with them, and if they stay over, then we get to spend some time as well. But those little moments of interaction mean a lot for me. There's going to be a time where I'm not going to be playing basketball. I'm going to be an audience member watching them. So I just want to continue to give them tools that they'll take on for the rest of their career so they can mentor the next generation as best they can.
They're staying. They'll be here. They're staying over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's even better then. Yeah.
Kyrie, you had a pretty spectacular season last year shooting from behind the arc. That's not maybe the first part of your game that everybody notices. But in terms of mentality, coming into this season, some nights you defend it differently. How do you stay confident throughout all of that?
Man, it's just trusting the work that you put in when no one's watching, and also just using that experience to the best of my ability. I've missed a lot of shots. I've made a lot of shots. The past few seasons for me, I've been hovering around 50, 40, 90. Hasn't been an easy feat just with all the defenses, but it's given me a large palette to work from and also learn from different guys, different defenders being on me. Different schemes, and also, again, getting close to the mountaintop and then falling short. I've been able to learn from that. And that's what I'm looking forward to doing here. It's just not so much or less looking to compare the past or compare situations, but just look forward and enjoy the situation I'm in now.
As you told us last year, you had never been traded in the middle of a year.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have closure with Brooklyn?
What do you mean closure?
Well, just like how everything's
you said it like I was in a full-blown.
Well, you leave in the middle of a season.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you're on good terms with the organization and just?
I mean, I was never on bad terms with the organization. I just think there was a lot of chaos and noise as usual from the media. I'm not going to blame you guys or anything, but again, nobody really knew what was going on behind the scenes, and I'm sure that people have their sources they go to and what was going on and what really happened. But for me, it was the best decision of my career, just to be able to ask for a trade. I knew I needed peace of mind. It was rough all the way around, after COVID and after the situations that took place there, circumstances that were either in my control or out of my control. And I didn't want to play the blame game. Like I said, I had a media interview and I said there were some disrespectful things going on behind the scenes. And that happens in every organization as an employee. So it's not out of the ordinary to come out and communicate that. But again, when it's me, it's a fire starter. Everyone loves to use my name to build up whatever credibility they need. And at the end of the day, I don't have a problem with that. I think my criticism is fair as long as you keep it on the court and judge me off the success of our team. And don't try to dig too deep into who I am as a person, because I don't show who I am as a person in this business, because it's always constant eyewitness views of just random things that I don't necessarily agree with is being written about me. So I do my best to separate the two between having a work-life balance. But the closure that you're talking about, man, is I'm just grateful that I have the opportunity to play this game. That's a media straightforward answer that you'll get from me on that.
Was that essentially like the whole situation with the COVID? Was that like the last straw, or were there other straws?
I mean, I was just trying to enjoy, the time that I had with some of my good friends and my peers in Brooklyn with James and KD and some young guys that we drafted. Well, we had a plan in place, and when plans change for individuals, and that happens again in any business, you got to make the best decision for you and your family. So again, when you have that eye-to-eye communication with your teammates and people on staff, and you're able to articulate how you feel, it shouldn't matter what's being said about you on the outside. And being in New York, being in the media capital of the world, it's the most political place in the world other than like LA or overseas places. But I think that people carry or hold on to the weight of my words, and I'm not trying to put anybody in that predicament here or in Brooklyn. So I'm just really trying to move past that, man, and hopefully everybody does the same.
Being here in Texas, you realize obviously the thoughts about COVID and the approach to COVID completely
totally different, man.
Yeah. So has it occurred to you how things?
Maybe Brooklyn should have just released me. Made things a lot easier on everybody. you know. But 2020 hindsight, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks
Cool.
a lot.
Yeah.
We're not a media